Hey, my mate, KT, how's it, bro? Been a long time. I can see you still got the shit locks, all those dreadlocks. But, bro, hey, good to have you on here and awesome to catch up with you.
Thanks, Jose. It's been really awesome to catch up again.
I haven't had that one in a while, but I'll take it because he's a little bit taller and he's got more muscles than me, so I'm happy to be called Jose.
No, just to catch up, bro. It's been a long time, way too long.
Obviously, a Te College old boy. Myself, obviously, Gisborne boys. We always used to beat you fellas. But I remember the first time I seen you, I think it was 94, you guys were playing Boys High at Rugby Park. And I remember seeing you playing on the wing. And I was certainly a little bit inspired, obviously, by the way you played the game. And obviously, we've seen that follow through, during your career. So I guess from our first 15 experience, bro, going from, I guess, boil up in pies for pre-match meal to, you're seeing the current athlete of first 15 rugby today and how those guys are shaping into professional rugby players, at that age. How do you see that from your point of view in terms of the change?
It's good to catch up with you, mate. Whakatangata kia kaha, as they say at Te College. My mate, I never lost to Gisborne boys. I'll be honest, even though you guys had year 14s at your school at the time. So, we always had those traditional rivalries, and whether it be home or away, it's something quite unique. And going to Gisborne was a pretty intimidating place, and having the return leg the next year was something also that we used to our advantage. But I suppose back when I was playing in particular, we didn't have sort of the resources or the information that a lot of these first things do now. I know a lot of these super first things, as we call them up here in Auckland, in the 1A competition in particular, have very deep pockets in a lot of their programs, and they run like professional teams. So these kids are coming in, they're going into academies pretty early on, and they're getting access to weight trainings and trainers and nutritionalists pretty early on, and you sort of you see these monsters, 6 foot, 6'3", 6'4", they look like grown men, but they're only like 16, 17 years old, So in terms of the landscape of first 15 rugby, it's really run like a professional unit, and it's a pathway now. It's a legitimate pathway for these kids to be able to get into a program early and then go on to play pros like you did and go to the top level. And I suppose that's the ultimate goal for a lot of these kids and a lot of their families. And we've seen it in the States and how they've done that through their professional programs. And it's just a matter of time before it happened here in New Zealand, and it's happened over there in Aussie and across the world, that these young kids get picked up. And, it's a great opportunity for them to do something they love and at the ultimate end, I suppose, get a test jersey for it.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's a great pathway. I guess that we've created in New Zealand. I guess they're not sort of paying them in kinners and crayfish like like us, bro. But it's good to see that New Zealand rugby and I guess New Zealand's really embraced that competition. And I think I guess we see the fruits of that as those boys transition to a higher level. So just on. If we just jump ahead to 2021, obviously there's a bit of uncertainty with how Super Rugby is looking for next year, and we know that's unfolding at the moment. Obviously, you've been a part of the recent Aotearoa, Super Rugby comp, which has been amazing to watch. And from your point of view, bro, what would you like to see, for next year? Collaboration with the Aussies or not? Even that new Hawaiian team, maybe, we could meet up in Hawaii and watch those guys play over there. But what's your thoughts on the look of that competition?
Yeah, I think what a lot of people got out of, and I suppose the administration in particular with the NZRU, with Super Rugby Aotearoa, was people came back to the park and to watch rugby because they wanted to see competitive teams playing each other, not like the Super Rugby before lockdown where you might get a Sunwolves, which the result before you even get there. Yeah. And I think having a shortened down period where 10 weeks we had rugby, people knew, they might only get 3 opportunities to go watch their home team play at home. So it created that demand, and that's why a lot of people came back to the park, and it was a celebration, So I think that there's a real chance here for next season to create something special. And I think the takeouts of it for me was having a period that goes for maybe 16 weeks, maximum, like the NFL, and have it in blocks. Like, so we have the Super Rugby for the 16 weeks, 3 months, say, for January to March, and then we move on to the NYC or the Mitre 10 Cup comes in, and then we go into the test later on after that. I think now it's going to be put into blocks and sold out to broadcasters, which gets a lot of the money. It's still creating that demand. We're not just getting one laid out 30-week competition like Super Rugby with mismatches, So I think that's the thing, creating a product that people want to see that's competitive week in and week out, which we don't know the results, so people go along. And I think also the connection back to tribalism, I suppose, like the Blues, a lot of Aucklanders, a lot of Northlanders, a lot of people reconnected with the Blues and reconnected with the Canes and created those rivalries again, back playing against the Crusaders, who you played for, obviously, and that southern game between the Highlanders and the Crusaders blew up again and started getting that rivalry. So it's recreating those connections, which were sort of lost in Super Rugby in recent times. I think that's a real secret, I think, that and takeaway that New Zealand rugby can get out of the Super Rugby outfit all anyway.
Yeah, how good was the I guess that Crusaders Blues game a few weeks ago? There was a lot of anticipation, and we could really feel that tribalism, as you've touched on. And I think with with obviously Rangi taking the Blues, bit of Crusader flavour in there, and just how the Blues have sort of turned a bit of a corner. That's actually good to see. I think a lot of us were starting to feel sorry for the Auckland Blues, which in past time no one liked them, which is which is quite funny. But now we've seen them sort of come back a little bit, and you can certainly see Leon McDonald's influence with the Blues, and just some of those young fellas that they've got in there coming through. It's really good to see. So are you probably seen Rangi a little bit? What have you noticed in terms of the shift with the Blues, just from your point of view?
Yeah, I think he was my first roommate in the Māoris, actually, Rangi. So he's we've always got on, and we had a few chats during the games, and when we sort of hit each other and ran into each other. But I think the thing is, with him, you spoke about it, it's a good point you make. He's brought a structure and a spine from the Crusaders, I think, that was missing from the Blues, but he still allowed the lads to go off and be themselves. And I think that's one thing you really spoke about, is like, that's why they dye their hair, so they can express themselves as long as it's still within the parameter of where the team's going, So a lot of the guys in the Blues, as you know, they're in the big city, they like doing the trendy stuff and all that, but you still keep on the same path. And I think that's probably been the main secret for them. And also, you can't underestimate what Bodie and DC are brought into that group. Just a bit of structure, having that head to say, all right, we've got a big pack, we're just going to chuck it down, kick it down there, we're just going to let our boys roll over, And I think what they've brought off the field probably has more so been the secret, because those guys they train hard too. So when those guys talk and they've got the experience behind them, you can't help but listen to those blokes. And I think it's really taken a lot of pressure off Paddy. He's got some lieutenants who he can drive the team, and Paddy can just go be Paddy, and he's been smoking dudes, and it's brought other guys in that fall back along with him, So I think it's been a major reason.
Yeah, and that's, I guess from our time, that shift and being able to express yourself. I think you might have been one of the first players to wear the pink boots. Which that
was your mate, real T-Pookie. That was him, boy. No socks.
Which was certainly frowned upon back then, KT. But like you're saying, now you're getting guys being able to dye their hair like Dennis Rodman, and which I guess for the old school, like, it was probably before our generation, and obviously with us, it was a big no-no. And I guess that whole concept of expressing yourself and being yourself, so that you can, I guess, get the best out of yourself from a team point of view. I guess we're starting to see some of the benefits of that, and also I know that it's something they're doing in All Black rugby too, is allowing the boys to be themselves, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think that they talk about good people make good players and what have you, and that's a big part of it now, I think. And like you say, we had our generation, we had our rules, and you had to wear the black boots. You didn't want to wear the pink or white, because then you stuck out in the review, So you sort of conform to what the court will say. But now that generation's gone and moved on to these young kids who communicate differently. They're all on their phones or their iPads or what have you, and they do stuff different. So I think that's a good thing about the All Blacks, and a stream down to Super Rugby where they've recognised that and allowed that to a lot of degree as well.
Yeah, that's just an interesting thing. Just a quick point you make there around mobile phones. Like I'm seeing guys on their mobile phones in the changing room before games. I don't know if that's across all teams or I would have thought something like that would be a no-no, but I don't know. I guess something is that still a part of the, you're the individual and you can kind of do what you want. I guess when preparing for a game, it's how you prepare best, and if that's what you want to do. Have you noticed anything in that space?
Yeah, no, they do. That was one thing we never did. Like, as soon as we got together, no phones and what have you. But like I say, they're probably texting the bloke 2 stalls down. That's how they communicate. It's funny though. Like even in the NFL, I heard the beginning of the last season that the 49ers coach, he actually had breaks in between his training, so players in between his meetings, so players can go on their check their phones, have a 10-minute recess, and then they're back into their meeting. So it's definitely something that's new age and coming in is going to be part of the times now.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. Hey, really appreciate your time. It's obviously great to catch up with you. Now, obviously being a former New Zealand Sevens captain, you got to know Sir Gordon Titchen's your dad pretty well. You're also very well known to give the best impersonation of Sir Gordon Titchen. So before you leave, bro, have you got a one-liner for me that you used to use when we were in Sevens camp? Just on finishing, that'll be awesome.
Rico, missed tackle, on the line.
You had to use my name. You could have used someone else's. Oh, awesome!
Mate, you're looking pretty snazzy, my mate. You got your own gear, man. You're on the.
Ask me about my t-shirt.
Yeah, what's going on there with the t-shirt, my mate? The merchy.
This is my R Gear International Rugby brand. You can find it at shopricogear.com. I can send you a shirt, bro, if you want.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, mine's only a medium these days. I've actually slimmed down, but I don't need a double XL like yourself. Mate, get off the beach muscles, bro.
Just so it's tight on the guns. I understand what you want the medium. That'll be $39.95, my bro. But I'll free postage for you.
That's $39.95 tala. Hey, 10 Aussie.
Classic. Hey, bro. Hey, thanks for giving up your time, and we'll keep in touch. But enjoy the rest of your week.
Right, get up, Tiote.
Too much, brother. Ka kite.